In this video, we're going to talk about computer systems scalability, how to use IT services, cloud services and technology to scale up a business and really grow. G'day Dan, how are you?
Good, thanks Tim.
So you've seen a lot, as a person who runs an IT company, you've seen a lot of examples of using technology to grow a business. Before we get into the specifics, can you give me a story? What's a kind of a killer story about a company growing a long way through the use of technology?
Look, we actually have a few, but there's one that comes to mind about a building company who wanted to grow themselves into new markets. So they had, say, around 10 or 15 people in their organisation in one office, and they wanted to grow into different markets in different states around Australia. So we enabled them to set up their business in the cloud, and then they could set up offices in different locations very, very quickly and be able to use those resources as if they were sitting in head office, but they might have been sitting in a rented office in Brisbane or Melbourne or in a different location.
So you migrated all their data to the cloud, and then that enabled you to set up offices quite quickly in other towns when they needed to be.
That's right. So once their data is in the cloud, we're able to create secure connections back into that data so that they could access that data and be able to run their business from any location. So as a result, that business grew from 10 to 15 people to well over 200 people within just a few years.
Really? All right, terrific. That makes a lot of sense. So let's go back to the mechanics of this. It's a great story, an inspirational story. Let's talk about the sort of tactics you might pursue just when it comes to growing the number of people in the business. Let's say you're going to go from 10 to 20 or from 2 to 8 or from 8 to 18. What sort of tactics should you be considering in terms of IT services and the sort of hardware you might need?
They're actually fairly critical questions when we're talking to a business about what they want to achieve and how they want to grow. So if a business tells us they want to grow fairly dramatically and not only in numbers of staff in the business but also in locations, then we certainly set up the IT and we structure it in a way that enables and facilitates that growth very easily and very effectively. So say, for example, in the past, if a business wanted to grow into different locations and go from 1 to 5 offices in different states, you'd have to effectively buy, say, 5 times the amount of IT equipment to set up in each of those locations. But now we centralise it in one location, give each of those offices secure access into that one location, and then they can set up as many offices as they want to because they're always connecting back to that same central source of their data.
So what I'm hearing between the lines is that model where you have to have a server in each office can be superseded by a cloud style.
One centralised model. It's taking it from being very decentralised, having servers in each office, to having it centralised in one secure location.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me. And in fact, that really leads to my next question, which is how to leverage cloud computing for scalability. What sort of benefits might you have as you're scaling up a business if you can centralise through cloud computing?
So think about that server that you would have had to put in the office. If you're growing, say, from 2 to 200 people, that server would need a fairly large upgrade very quickly. It would need more hard drives and more RAM. That means downtime. It means costs in financial costs as well as time costs as well. So instead of doing that to the server in your office, when it sits in the cloud, that same server that sits in the cloud, as that needs upgrading, we literally just change the numbers and increase the amount of RAM, the amount of hard drive capacity, the amount of servers. Completely seamless. That generally the end user doesn't see that kind of maintenance is going on because that's what data in the cloud enables you to do. Have that scalability without taking the business down. It's also good for the business for their cash flow as well. So instead of having to pay $10,000, $50,000 for just one server upgrade, instead of that, it's a monthly subscription. So
much lower cost in an ongoing fashion.
Absolutely.
So you can actually wind up at a screen where you sort of, so to speak, say click server, double server capacity, click, and it's done.
Pretty much like that, yeah. And within minutes to hours of making it happen, and again, very little disruption.
All right, terrific. Thanks very much. There are some great tactics there about how to scale a business. If you'd like to find out more or perhaps ask Dan some questions about how to grow your business in this context, please get in touch through the website sabervox.com.au.